the flag, we all beating our chest. When it's peace, it's the same old game, the same old players, same old names. Right. My skin is my sin. My skin is my sin. My skin is my sin. When Stokely Carmichael and you know the Black Power people came out and they began to talk about black empowerment, they couldn't do that apart from a relationship with the church. In the past few years, it's changed. It has changed, but you can't deny the history of the thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a fact. I always said that. As long as you stick to the roots, you know you can bring it back. You can always bring it back. And like I said, it's a garage sale. You take the best, you leave the rest. You know, because the rest is added. You know, the book been tampered with, all this extra stuff. That's what you leave. If you know the truth, you know the history, you know everything. You tie it on. You can tie it in. You know what I mean? It's even if you want to go like, okay, it's reiterated stuff from these people from or this theology, it's the same thing still. Okay, cool. It's still us. It's still black. It started here.
Let me ask to it. I have a very important question to ask, and I have a very important.
And I'm gonna have to let you go after
Reverend.
this one, though, Malcolm.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a very important question to ask you, Reverend.
Yes, sir.
So, the black church, you know what I'm saying, gave us, you know what I'm saying, what you said it has and what I said it has. It gave us faith and hope, you know what I'm saying, and brought us together, and you know what I'm saying, gave us strength and unity. But would you agree that, you know what I'm saying, it also stole, you know what I'm saying, by adopting, you know what I'm saying, Christianity, it stole our who we were before Christianity, who we were before we were slaves, who we were before, you know what I'm saying, when we used to be gods and kings, you know what I'm saying, in Egypt and in, you know what I'm saying, in all parts of Africa, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. It stole that from us. So I don't honestly believe that it ever helped.
Wow.
You got to look at the long game. You got to look at the long game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Short term, it was amazing. Long game, it was very bad for us and continues to be bad.
I'd urge you to read a book called African Glory, the story of vanished Negro civilizations. It's by guy's last name is DeGraff, DeGraff.
Oh, yeah. I know him.
So when you start reading that book, you understand that Christianity existed in Africa before the slave trade. Now, when we look at Islam, and I have friends who are Muslim, I respect the Islamic faith. When they start talking about registering Muslims in America, I'm going to be one of the people fighting against that.
I'm going to go register.
You're going to go register. Okay. But wait a minute.
Why? I'm sorry, Rev, but why?
I'm sorry. If we all register,
a little bit.
If we all register, and I'm going to make it quick, if we all register, you know what I'm saying, it eliminates the issue. And I'm not talking about just black people.
That's a horrible way to look at it. But I'm sorry, Rev. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So anyway, you can take any religion and flip it and make it say do something terrible. So what happened was these people took religion, they took the Christian faith, and they took parts of it, and they made it. They created this monster that dehumanized people. But when African people got a hold of Christianity, they were able to. They humanized it. It wasn't basically, except for this. It wasn't the same thing anymore. So instead of using it to take away people's names, there's a song that I got a new name. You know, and that's what Christianity did for people. That's what the Christian faith did. And you listed a lot of things that Christianity did for people that were beautiful. There's one thing you missed, and it's this: Christianity made people active. Christianity made people sacrifice. You know, if you start reading about the history of the civil rights movement, they would people had to give huge sums of money to the movement, and they had to put their lives on the line for their beliefs. So Christianity wasn't, let's sit down and wait for God to handle it. Christianity was, you know, we say we believe in this, we're going to have to die for freedom. That's what it taught. That's what it taught us.
Hey, Malcolm. On that note, I gotta get to our next caller, bro. I hate to cut
absolutely,
you off,
absolutely. Go ahead.
I gotta get to our next caller.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
No doubt, man. And salute for calling up, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No doubt.
Okay.
Wow, I wouldn't sign up for anything, but that was different. We do have 3308 on the line. I'm just saying. I'm just not, man. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I wouldn't.
Hey, Brad.
Yes, sir.
He's Christian, right?
I'm Christian, yeah.
He's Christian. Dude just hung up. He's Christian, right?
I can't tell the brother what he is, man.
I don't know what he was.
He said that that Jewish people believe in Jesus. They don't. They might believe he was a human being. Jesus, they might believe some of the reasons why Jesus was crucified, but they don't believe in as pray to him or hold him up as a deity.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He said that he believed that Jesus Christ died for our sins, which would place him in deity status, correct?
Exactly.
He's
exactly,
Christian.
Yeah.
He's Christian.
Petty role. Just being petty, Rail.
Oh wow! I don't know. Yeah, no, that's part of what we believe right there. Yeah.
Thank you. I just had to get off my chest, man. Go ahead, good thing, man. Go.
All right, man. Let me get to 3308 right quick.
Okay.
What's good, fam?
What's good, Joe? What's poppin', family? What's going on?
Oh, what's up, AJ? Oh, you decided to show up, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, I got finished doing what I had to do around the house. Salute to the plug, you feel what I'm saying? He helped me handle some things earlier today, but I'm back on track, you feel me? What's going on, people? Right. How y'all feeling?
Well, we got Reverend Harry Lewis Williams on with us today, bro. And thus far, the build has been great.
Okay, well, I just want to be a fly on the wall. I can interject, you feel what I'm saying? But I'm going to sit here and just watch y'all build. And whenever it's my opportunity, you feel what I'm saying, I'll hop right in. Is that cool with y'all?
I think that'll work. You all right with that?
I think that'll work. I think about it.
Okay.
Do your thing, Brother Greg.
Okay, man, so good, man.
Rev, I got a question for you.
All right. Go ahead.
So when you come across the and I like to call them the super conscious brothers, where they eating seaweed and they don't believe a thing and something kind of on the lines of what the last caller was saying, religion is bad, the whole Christianity is bad, the whole nine.
Right.
How do you overcome that to still work with that person personally?
Wow. Well, first of all, you have to understand where I live. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. I live in Oakland, which is considered by some the mecca of the revolution. And so I go to the coffee shop. The socialists meet in the coffee shop, like where I write my books. Yeah, I mean, the conscious community is really deep-rooted here, has been for decades. So there's some things that we agree on. We agree on the uplifting, the empowerment of black people. So that's what we're going to talk about. And if you want to uplift black folk, I not only represent the church, I represent the brothers and sisters you may meet out on the street. So if you want to talk to them and meet with them and you want to help them, I'm going to be the way that you can do that. So we're going to talk. We're going to have a real conversation. We're going to start with mutual respect, because even if we don't agree with each other philosophically or theologically, we still love each other as black people. So we start there. When I was in college, there was a professor who taught Africana studies, and his name was Dr. Conyers. I went to a school called Kean University. He's still there, Kean University in Union, New Jersey, and he was a conscious brother. And man, he would tell us, none of that's true. This didn't happen, that didn't happen. The Jewish people were never in Egypt. I mean, he would really just try to break down our faith. But at the end of the day, we all black. Remember that speech that Malcolm gives in the movie, and he says that he's standing in front of that Mishaw's bookstore, and he says, "You're not prejudiced. You're not discriminated against because you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Muslim." He goes, "You catch up because you're black." So when we catch up on one common thing, we're coming together on that one common thing.
Wow. Have you ever considered giving like a like a symposium to other pastors?
Hold on, let me write that word down. Did you say symposium? Let me write that down. That's a big word.
So, I don't even know what that means.
I was just like...
I was like, oh, shoot.
I know he wrote 5 books, man. I had to brush up on my language.
I forgot my question. I'm
like, said symposium. Oh.
I'm thinking symphony. We talking music now?
Man, y'all gonna let the brother answer the question, man.
Oh, okay.
It's difficult. I wrote a book, and this is my shameless plug right here. I wrote a book. It's called Street Cred, A Hood Minister's Guide to Urban Ministry. You can get it on Amazon.com. It's got a cover endorsement from Dr. Cornel West. And it's got endorsements from from rappers like Mr. Biggs of Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force, a whole lot of people that you probably would know. And so the book is telling the church that, man, if we don't change these certain things, we're going to lose another generation of people and churches will die. And so it's very real because I start off in prison. I start off in a street where I'm walking down the street, and it's a true story where somebody gets murdered. And people start. I have a conversation with the family of the deceased who asked me to do the funeral. Then it goes on, and I'm preaching in prison and hollering at these brothers behind, maximum force security. And we're talking about what does religion look like. So what's happened is when I start talking about the changes that the church would have to make, a lot of preachers start hating on me. Last week, I said this before you got on the phone, bro. Last week they wrote me a note. Some of the leading preachers in the whole city, and man, it was ugly.
Wow.
They were not feeling. You talk about a symposium. They're ready to run me out of town with torches and pitchforks.
Wow.
Wow.
I always say, there's levels to everything, and there's, certain people you can't reach. Like, example, like the most. When you talk about the lost in the street, the niggas,
right.
Like who's gonna reach them easier, Umar or Seti? You know what I'm saying? I would drop my dime on Seti. So it comes to levels. It's levels to this. So if I want to tap into a certain demographic, I want to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to, it's good to know that we need to network better where we have the right people in the right places and not step on each other's toes because we not on that level. Like, I may not be on my cruddy or the cruddiest, but I know, you know what I'm saying, as long as I know that brother rocking with me, you know what I'm saying, on a certain level, we can move forward. We on this side of the line at least, you know what I'm saying, and we know the opposition's over there. The fight is less.
Oh, yes.
And
exactly.
We have we have people like, but see, where it comes now. This is my gripe with not my gripe, but I'm gonna say there's certain things with the religion I won't go with, but I don't have no problem pulling people to it as long as I know it's going. All right, how do I put it?
Keep it real. Don't say it.
I'm trying to get the question. I'm trying to get the question right. Burning bushes and stuff like that, or where do you draw the line at some of the tamperings with the book?
Well, first of all, first of all, you have to understand that they didn't believe in empirical fact like we do. In the 21st century, everything has to be measured in the test tube. So basically, there's a couple of things you have to understand about when you go back to the Bible. If I was writing something in the scripture, I may say something that could have another meaning, that you may see it in a different way, but it's how people understood truth. So no, but people weren't stupid back then. They knew certain things. They weren't stupid, but they. And so you have a fact that they don't always look for things to have a factual truth as long as a spiritual implication is behind it. Then secondly, with some of the stories that you read in the Old Testament, where you read the stories in Genesis, all the other communities around Israel shared some part of that story. So they weren't unique to the Hebrew journey. So you might have a creation myth, but in other countries hold parts of that myth.
Let me simplify it a little bit. Are some of those stories in the Bible just a story, or are they historical fact? And not saying that it's a story that is bad. It could be a philosophical, something. You know what I'm saying? A spirituality thing to tie us to being in tune with the everything that's connected as one. God, as you want to call it.
Well, let's look at the story of Noah.
A natural fact, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Let's look at the story of Noah. All right, so you've got God tells Noah it's going to rain, tells him to build this huge ship, tells him to take 2 of every single animal on the earth is going to fit inside that boat. Is that possible? 2 of every single animal on the earth is going to get inside of this big boat? I don't think that's possible. No. And then the whole world is flooded. The whole world is flooded. This is written in the early centuries. How do they know the whole world's flooded? How do you know the whole world's flooded? It's impossible to know that. So what you have, right?
Which corner is your church on? Because I'm going. You got me now. You got me.
If you go to talk to any preacher who went to seminary school teaches you to question everything. And so you start, not every, when the conscious community, they come to me and say, oh, wait a minute, that could never happen. A lot of it didn't happen. A lot, it didn't happen that way. God gave you a brain when he created you. So you cut it off. Mm-hmm.
So you go to the streets because the church is really within?
I go to the streets because I came from the streets in a sense. And I started, if I could tell you really briefly what led me to my journey. There's a pastor in a place called Perth Amboy, New Jersey. His name is Bishop Donald Hilliard, the greatest preacher I think I ever heard in my whole life. Because he went to Princeton Theological Seminary, but he could talk to you like he was in the pool hall. And he would talk about, I was in my 30s, and I had gone to college, and he would tell me, man, if you believe in God and you believe in yourself, you can do anything. And so I registered, I went to college and got a degree. When I was 36, I got my bachelor's. And then he would tell me, man, you got to go on to seminary school. I went and I got a second degree. I started writing books because he helped build a faith in me that came from the scriptures. And so I came to Oakland and I taught at a small Christian college. And I lived in Harlem. I lived on the edge of West Philadelphia. I got a lot of family in Baltimore, Washington, in that area. Huh?
No, keep going. I'm listening.
Really, AJ?
So, yeah, I got a lot of family in all those places. And so people were telling me when I first moved to Oakland, man, you got to be really careful in this one neighborhood where you live. They said it's extremely dangerous over here. I'm looking, there's palm trees out there, freshly cut lawns. It doesn't look dangerous. You saw Boys in the Hood.
Right.
If you saw Boys in the Hood, you don't have these brown brick buildings. You have houses in California. And so one night, I'm walking down the street, and one of my students who was at the college I was teaching that told me, he said, Professor, get in this car. He said, don't walk around here. Don't walk at night. I thought, this guy's out of his mind. Well, a week later, I'm laying in my bed watching TV, and all of a sudden, it sounded like Fallujah at the height of the Iraq War. You hear high-powered guns, shotties going off, 9mm. It's war outside. And so after a while, the police helicopter comes and they're shining the light on the front of the house. People are still shooting. The next morning, I walked outside to walk to the corner, and early in the morning, somebody had already built a shrine to this brother who lost his life the night before. And I realized I lived in a crack war zone. So I started talking to the brothers who would be out in this one corner. And I said, can I ask you a question? And that's when people call me Rev. And that's when they started calling me Rev. I said, what y'all doing out here? Do you know how dangerous it is? Man, they had this thing set up where they had hitters on the block. They had people who did the pitching. They would keep the money. The drugs, the money, nothing was in the same place. They had a run like a well-oiled machine, and whoever really ran it was never out there in that corner. And I began to talk to them and say, man, what's going on out here? People are dying. You can talk to somebody one day, the next day they're gone. And they said to me, Rev, can we keep it real? I said, keep it real. They said, we can't. I got a record. The only way I can put Pampers on my baby's bottom is to be out here. And it changed my whole life because I started saying, if religion is real, how can I hang out inside of a church with stained glass windows knowing that these brothers are out here with no hope and no direction? And from there, I never became the pastor of an organized church. I always worked with formerly incarcerated people. I always ministered to gang members, people with drug issues. I started a ministry to help women caught up in human trafficking. I wrote urban fiction books. I wrote a book, if you want to look it up, called Straight Outta East Oakland, like Straight Outta Compton, Straight Outta East Oakland. I started writing books that young people can understand when they were in juvenile hall, and my heart was always to the block. So that's what happened to me, and I was never accepted by the regular church as a result of that.
Wow.
Okay,
let me ask you this. Oh, go ahead, AJ.
Okay. A lot of people feel as though in the black community that they have been duped as far as when it comes to religion and not just Christianity. You feel me? Like some black people are feeling as though they've been duped as far as following the so-called conscious community or the Hotep movement.
Right.
If you wanted to bring more people to your congregation and to your flock, how would you convince them? Someone that basically everything that they believed in at one point in time has been a huge letdown. How would you initiate them into your flock?
Well, okay, when I lived in Harlem back in the 80s, there used to be this church, and I don't even remember the name of the church. They just called it the church. And on Saturday, the whole conscious community would come to the church. And you'd see Frances Welsh, what's her name? Say that name for me. Frances Welsh.
Wilson?
Yes. She would be there. Everybody you can think of from that community would come to this church. And it wasn't a church service. It was where they would meet, and you'd hear different speakers, and you'd hear music from the community. So if I'm going to bring you to my situation, I'm going to have something that's going to speak to you. And I won't necessarily feel that I need to proselytize you. I'm going to share what I know, share what I believe. But my thing is to bring Christianity is so much broader than you say this prayer with me and you're going to heaven. God cares about your life right now. He cares about the brothers caught up in the prison industrial complex. I'm going to tell you, we got a problem with gentrification where I live. If I was a pastor of the church, I would say, come on, y'all, it's Tuesday night. It's City Hall meeting. We going. And so you don't have to necessarily buy into everything I believe, but if you buy into the liberation aspects of Christianity, we can start there. That's what I would do.
Yeah, because John Henry Clark said that. He said, if anything about your religion, it should be about liberation. So that's why I was like, yeah, all right, you could be I'm rocking with you on the pastor tip. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
And it got to be about the liberation, and like you said, it's about the work. You know, AJ you just asked him like, what will bring the people to it, and he went to what you're doing, like work. That's what's most important. The work.
Yes.
We can get to all that later.
That's right. You know, there was Malcolm was somebody that influenced a lot of preachers, and there's one preacher I tell everybody to Google him. He teaches at Union Theological Seminary in New York. His name was James Cone. James Cone, like ice cream cone, and he started writing books about black theology. Just Google this brother, read his works.
Let me ask you this though.
Got that name one more time.
James Cone.
Can you drop that name one more time?
James Cone, like ice cream cone. James Cone, Union Theological Seminary. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Man, I really had a profound question too, and I just lost it. Like I was holding on to that question too, and just lost it. I blame you, Sean.
I was chiming heavy. I'm sorry. Caping for the cast. Let me stop.
I know what I was going to ask. So let me ask, are you optimistic about the church being relevant to the struggle again?
Well, let me go back to what the brother asked me before. He said he was talking about SETI, and he was talking about Dr. Umar. And he said that SETI would be the one that would reach the brother on the block. And he doesn't see that Dr. Umar probably, with his suit on and, his, kind of the way he speaks, being able to really reach that brother. I don't know how true that is because that would be another discussion because I know a lot of brothers.
Yeah, I think Umar can get there, but I'm talking about that.
Yo, Umar turned to Beanie Siegel in like 20 minutes, bro.
He did. He was King Kong. He was King Conscious. Yeah, I got it. That was a bad analogy. I tried, but yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, but I feel you. But you know what? See, here's the thing: there are preachers like that. There's an underground movement that's bubbling up of preachers who are going to be able to speak to this generation. And so there might be some pastor listening, and I'm going to tell you, don't just kick the conscious brothers out. Don't silence the young people. Let's start listening to them. Start listening to their music, because that's what I love. Hip hop music. I can't live without it because I've been involved with it for so many years. But the thing about it is, there are some young preachers who could speak to the. I have a friend. His name is Pastor Mustafa Muyi. And if you look him up, he's a rapper. You can go to YouTube. They call him Pastor Mu. And it's just Pastor and the M-U. Just look up, Google him. And he was a gangbanger. He was looking at 25 to life. And he said, Lord, if you save me from this, I'll come out and I'll serve you. So now when he go to the projects, and I was with him, he had a funeral. He called me, he said, Rev, I need you to go with me to a funeral. And these two brothers that got shot. In two separate instances, there were literally brothers, guys killed the same day. Wow. And they're from his old hood. And so we go to the funeral, man, people are crying. And people thinking about revenge at a funeral. Don't kid yourself. They're thinking about who's going to get it next. And so you walk into the funeral parlor, and there's two twin caskets. And with each of the brothers there, and his whole hood is there. And I remember him getting up in front of the congregation, and some of the older preachers were there, and they looked unhappy to see him because Pastor Mustafa is younger, and he's a hood preacher. And he got up and he said, you know what, y'all? Y'all all know me because he was a general for that neighborhood. And he goes, you know what I used to promote? And he said, this is not the way to go. We're going to put the guns down, and we're going to start thinking about life for our young people. Now, I could bring some preacher in there who's 80 years old who starts singing and hooping and hollering, and he could get through to a degree. But, man, this brother comes from the streets. He's saved, but he can still talk the language of the streets, and he loves those people, something you cannot fake. He loves them.
That's a fact.
You can't fake that. And so nobody got shot behind that. He saved. Who knows how many lives he saved? Because he was able to tell them, put the guns down. And because he had that past, and the way he could speak to them, they could hear him. But there's a lot of preachers like that are coming up. So hood preachers.
How do you feel about members of congregations basically like romanticizing what's the pastor? You know what I mean? Almost these pastors who place themselves as who the congregation holds them as if they are God.
They Jesus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
It's idolatry. That's a big problem we have, And when you talk about being from the Bay Area, I don't know if you remember this gentleman. He came out here. He was a white guy, and he had a 90% black population, and they worshipped him. And people worshipped him. They thought he was like the next thing to Jesus. And so one day he said, "Come on, y'all, we're going to go out to Guyana." In the middle of the jungle, and they created something called Jonestown. And, he created Jonestown, and then he told these people.
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, right?
Yeah.
And so his church, the people are buried not far from where I live right now, and a lot of people. He told people, you know what? They're going to come and destroy our community, and what I need you to do is drink this Kool-Aid. And some people drank it willingly and fed it to their children. Because their worship of the pastor. I know women who have given their bodies to the pastor. People who have made investments where they lost huge sums of money because the pastor told them to do something. I remember once going to one church. I went to one church, and I told one of the deacons I was going out of town for a while, and he told me, well, go up and touch the pastor. Just touch him. Like he was magic. Christ. What the heck? Well, man, oh my goodness. Yeah, but you know what? That is a big problem because, but it's not just him, man. In the conscious community, you got these people called hotep hustlers. You know they're lying. You look at the whole scheme of things. Some of the things that they've done to get money out of people. Some of the things they claim about themselves that can be proven as fact. They lie about their credentials, and then you can be proven they're lying, and then people still stand behind them, not because they've left their mind. They check their brain at the door. Christianity tells me you never do that. Real Christianity, you only worship one person, that's God. But I'm going to say this, and a lot of people don't like it. As African American people, we somehow become susceptible to that thing of, well, we worship somebody. It doesn't have to be a pastor. It could be somebody from the Hotep community that you know the person is a thief and a robber, and they lying, and they lied about their past, and they using your women, and the person say a couple of things on white people. Go ahead, brother, speak. For the crook, he's a hustler. But it's
like they replace one with the other.
That's right. So, no, I see that in church, and it's deadly. It's dead because what happens is when that person falls, you fall. It really comes out about some of these people in the Hotep community, the conscious community. Someone's going to come out. There's one guy in particular I'm thinking of whose name I won't call. One day, somebody that he grew up with or one of his family members is going to come on TV and say, you know what, this is who so-and-so really is. And you know what's going to happen that day?
You lose everything.
Say what?
Loses everything.
He loses. Not only does he lose everything, those people lose their belief because they believed in him.
Mm.
The sad part though is I don't know. It would have to be so extreme because you got a lot, like you say, you got a lot of people idolizing and worshiping these people that even when the information is factual and brought to their attention, they disregard it.
Right.
There was a preacher down in Georgia whose name I won't call. He passed away recently. So that'll give you a hint. That'll help you a little bit. You can. So there was some.
Bless his soul.
Hi. Okay, let me go on. I'm not going to touch. Yeah, I guess so. I'll bless his soul. But
I'm with you.
But there's some allegations that he had relationships with teenage boys. Now what happens is I know preachers that are pimps. They use women, and sometimes men, like in this situation, and you have to understand that these people gravitate to you because of your charisma and your call and your anointing as a preacher. So to use what God gave you, to use people physically, to take away their faith, their self-esteem, to put them in that situation. And then when you get found out, to call them a liar and to demonize them when you get called on the carpet about it. Man, this is deep. It's deep. But these people fall for them because they think they see God in that person. And to use what you're been given to lead people toward the light, to oh, goodness gracious, to use them sexually is beyond, it's unconscionable.
So let me ask you this.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Now, when you were talking about the letter you received recently from the other pastor, how do you even respond to them, and if so, how?
I had a response already, but you know what? I thought about that thing. I learned this when I was a young man. You don't say everything you're thinking when in the heat of anger, because once you start saying stuff and taking and you just speak your mind and use all your creativity that's just put negativity in the air, you can't take it back once it's written down. So I have all the love in the world for them, but I just don't understand. I'm still it shocked me. That's all I can say. I was just shocked. Like, whoa, man.
You could send your response to us in the inbox, because I know it was like you probably was like, I'm from the streets. I'm a street cat. I got that 32, 38. I don't play over here.
I could have gone there, trust me, and that was my first thought. And I said, man, let me just say this. Then I said, no. And I love him. You know, I love him. Respect my elders. I love him. I'm going to say this because I know they're listening to this broadcast because I put it on Facebook. So I'm just going to keep it. I'm going to keep it real here. I love them. I love and respect the black church. I don't denigrate the church, but it's like this. When Dr. King, at the height of the Vietnam War, Dr. King was thought of as a civil rights leader, and he was thought of only in that vein. But he realized that the Vietnam War was draining money away from the freedom struggle. So Johnson, the president, had started this the war on poverty, which could have eradicated a lot of poverty and really had a dramatic effect on the distribution of economic wealth in America. So King says, you know, that money that you put into the war on poverty is going to Vietnam, and he spoke against Vietnam, and people turned on him immediately. The great civil rights leaders of the day, Edward Brooke, who was one of the first black congressmen, comes out against King. Jackie Robinson, the ball player, comes out against King. All these people who had supported him up until that time, they said, what are you as a civil rights leader doing talking about the Vietnam War? They called him a traitor. And so King said, I have to listen to what God tells me. And when he saw injustice, he spoke against it. When I love the black church, and I see the potential for the black church to once again be the giant that it was. If we don't sit down in a room, we call this the elephant in the room, because you'll never go to a church and hear anybody talk about the fact that the church is graying, that young people don't come there, that the church is not the revolutionary force it once was. Even if you even mention those things, you're considered a traitor. But in order for those things to be reclaimed, we have to have a real conversation. And it's not that people say, oh, you hate the church. King said, I don't hate America. He said, I say these things because I love America, and I want America to be all that it could be. So and that's how I am about the black church. I love the black church, and I love even the preachers who said those nasty things about me, but and put like next to it. I love them, but you know what? I have to speak the truth.
Facts. And we need a million pastors like you. You know what I mean? We need a million. We need a million of you, bro. Like, just.
And you know what?
I've never had nothing explained to me like that.
I'm not even pastors, just people.
People, right? Yeah.
And I will say, I want to thank you too, man, because we only got about 15 minutes left. But I want to thank you because you've shed a totally different light on the black church. And at least, you know, I can only speak personally. Like, I'm not about, you know, I would come to your church literally. You know, it doesn't mean I'm going to join the church or I got to, you know, but I would definitely come and build with you. Like, and that's an unusual statement for myself. And I don't think I'm alone in that aspect. So you are definitely a testament to what the church, in my opinion, should be.
Well, thank you so much. That means so much to me. I really appreciate that. Really do.
We appreciate you. Yeah. We appreciate you, brother. Absolutely.
Now,
like I said, you get the book out there. What's the book? Let me know.
Go to
you got a Bible up, right?
Go to Amazon.com. My name is Reverend Harry Williams. The name of the book was called Street Cred, and everything I talked about basically is in that book. And you may hear about book burnings in Oakland, California. They're gonna be burning that book because that book keeps it real.
Okay. I hope they burn a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? Because then they're gonna be buying them. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Like, at least buy the book first.
Right.
You got any events or anything like that coming up?
Every Monday night, I teach Bible study at a place called the Oakland City Church. That's in the corner of Coolidge and MacArthur. So it's a social justice Bible study. And we deal with people who are doing things in the community or want to bring healing to the community or you know, fight against the prison industrial complex, this plan to deport so many of our neighbors. That's so disheartening. We're just trying to build the beloved community. So that's every Monday at 7. And then I teach Bible study at Glide Memorial Church in San Francisco, which is one of the most famous churches in California. If you saw the movie Pursuit of Happiness, you saw Glide Church. With Will Smith's movie. So Glide is a huge church, and it's in downtown San Francisco. I'm going to preach there. It's a social justice church. Glide.org, www.glide.org, and I'm going to preach there at 9 and 11 this coming Sunday.
You know what? There's actually an event in Oakland, actually, February the 12th, called Restoring Our Youth. We're going to have a brother, Hakeem Green, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., Vin Rock from Naughty by Nature, and a brother named Raheem Shabazz. Just if you was interested, or if you know anybody interested in something like that. Kids are 12 and under are $10, youth 12 to 18 or 15, and adults $25. But it should be a nice event out there, man. I know the people throwing it. So
families out there. We definitely need the families out there.
Well, there's some wonderful people behind that, and I love Chairman Fred. He's a beautiful soul, and he brought a lot of hope to people out here in California. Direction. So and Vin Rock, I'm a big Naughty by Nature fan because grew up in New Jersey. So I wonder if that's Raheem Shabazz. I wonder if that's Raheem from because I looked at that picture of the guy with the glasses. I wonder if that's Raheem from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. Because he kind of looks like it.
I don't think so. I don't know. I think the brother's written a book. I'm not too familiar with him. I just know, and actually, matter of fact, we'll get familiar with him next month because we're gonna have him on the show. We're gonna have Raheem and Hakeem on the show, so we'll definitely. And I know because we have a media group called Liberation Minded Media, and it's our radio show, Do the Knowledge Radio, Black Eye Stand Radio, the Rundown with Renee, and we also have a magazine, Get This Wisdom. And it was just it's our way of trying to come together as a collective to get a bigger platform to do a better job at controlling our narrative.
Well, I will certainly be looking into your materials, your websites, and I really appreciate what you do. I know you give a platform to the brothers out in the Fear and Be Gangsters out in Baltimore.
That's family, man.
Okay. Because we had them out here. We had PFK Boom and Big Wolf out here to a conference a few months ago here in Oakland. So I appreciate what you do with them as well.
Oh man, trust me when I say that family, like I literally slept on the man's floor. So.
Oh, okay. Oh wow, that's family then.
Right.
Literally.
And to add to that, like they speak extremely highly of you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I wrote an article about Boom that appeared in Public Enemy's website.
Wow.
So, wow. You just Google my name and his, you'll find it on there. And when I saw that first video where he confronted that preacher, I knew in 10 seconds what was happening there. And I said, and so I wrote an article defending him. And so you can find that online.
Oh, that's right there. And you know what, totally off topic though, man, I got one question for you, man. Who is the one person that you have come across in your travels where you were just like the most starstruck, the most, oh, wow, I can't believe this moment?
Oh, man, probably. There's so many, but I have to say I'm an old school hip-hop fan, probably Melly Mel.
Wow.
That had to be dope.
And phenomenal. I met him. It wasn't at a concert. I met him in the '80s. A fighter for his name was DJ Africa Islam, and he used to do music with Ice-T. And he told me one night, he said, come down to the Secret Sound Studios. He goes, Mel is going to be there. And to us back then, and to even to me today, Mel was the greatest rapper that ever lived. He was the foundation of hip-hop. The first person to figure out how to make those rhymes go with the beats. And to walk in and he was there, man, I was like, whoa. So I have a lot of love and respect for Mel. To meet him, I've met a lot of people in my life, but I'll think about the moment that I met him. I was like, wow, man, this is the father of the whole situation.
Oh, let me get one in there. All right. As far as your mouth, your Mount Rushmore of people, of influences within your life, outside of your immediate family. Top 4 people that have influenced you in your life.
Oh, man, one of them is the Reverend Dr. J. Alfred Smith Sr. He wrote a book. I wrote a book with him called On the Jericho Road. I'd urge anybody to look that book up. You can my book. Some of them you can get them for a penny plus shipping from Amazon.com. So this one preacher came out to California, and he was a black liberation preacher. He was a black power preacher. And he was the guy who stood up against the city's infrastructure, that reached his hands out to the Panthers, that built housing for people later on who had AIDS and for the homeless. He was the one person in Oakland. You go to anybody, and everybody has a story about him. And he took a handful of people and built a church that has thousands of members. But he's the most humble. He's the most brilliant theologian that I ever met. Another one was Dr. Samuel DeWitt Proctor. He was a pastor of Abyssinian Baptist Church when I was in college. He was a professor. He passed on, but they named the seminary after him. This guy was an amazing theologian, because what they taught me was that religion is more about thinking than shouting. And so, and so as I went to college, I started thinking, man, I want to learn what religion is about and how it all fits together. And you just can't in the world you live in today. You've got to have, we call it apologetics. So when you start talking about the roots of Christianity and is it real, there's a whole discipline around that called apologetics. And so, like, I started meeting preachers like this guy who was a very straight-laced type guy. When I say that, I mean always wore a suit and tie, spoke perfect English, but he was the most radical, one of the most radical people you ever want to meet as far as really trying to save black people's soul. Not immortal soul, but the soul that creates the essence and the creativity and the life of black people. His name was Samuel DeWitt Proctor. Man, Angela Davis, man, some people I've met just, in passing along the way. Oh, my goodness, because she's real. They're not just people that you see. In Oakland, when you talk about people like Bobby Seale, another one would be Bobby Seale. When I was a kid, he was considered the arch enemy. He was created public enemy number one. And then I moved to Oakland, and, of course, my life is different. I'm going to college, seminary, read a lot of books. I got an invitation to have lunch at his house. And so there I am. I'm sitting at the dinner table where they wrote the Panther 10-point program. And there's this guy with an apron on, and he's making the ribs, and he's talking to me about different things like he's my uncle. I'm just like, man, he's just so humble. I'm asking him questions like, how do we do this? What can be done here? And he's just so real. They're not just like, I'm a star, or, you have to bow down and worship me because you see me on TV. He's just like your uncle. And
there's no money in what you're preaching. Yeah, there's no money in what you're preaching. That's why you got them getting them letters. There's no money in what you're preaching. That's what it is, man. That's why I say you my pastor. Listening to you more and more, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I don't, you might be able to, get me to listen to some, get in some things, but some of it I ain't gonna, But I see you don't even go that way, so yeah. I definitely agree with you. And you talking about the work. We haven't even really talked too much on theology, but what you I liked it. You know what I mean? But you talk more on the work. You talk a lot on the work, and that's the type of Christianity that we need if we're going to delve into it, as far as I say. And yeah, you my pastor.
Oh, now, Rev, let me let you know, man. This is coming from a brother that for months was banging on every Christian he come across. He had all the you don't understand how big a compliment that is, bro. That's the only reason I say that.
That is huge. That is huge.
Hey, it's levels to growth. It's levels. You know what I'm saying? I was at a certain level. Now I'm at a whole nother level. So, but yeah.
And at the end of the day, at the end of the day, the people are the church.
Yes.
The people are the church.
That's right.
We need them. We need them.
Right.
Hey, fam. We got one more caller I want to try to squeeze in before we sign off. But I also, before I pick up 5786, we definitely, if you the original Panthers, any of them that you know, or or any Panther, we wanted to get them on the show too, man. When we say from goons to guys, man, like next month we're gonna have a gang show, and not to glorify gangs. And I don't, me personally, I think gang members have proven, for one, that they are willing to die for something, which is a powerful thing. They just have not been. We just need to shift what they're willing to die for.
Yes,
You're gonna have Jawi on there. You're gonna have Jawi on there. Are you gonna have Jawi from Newark, New Jersey?
Do you know that familiar? I'm not familiar.
Oh, my goodness. You have to get a book called The War of the Bloods in My Veins by Deshaun Jawi Morris. He's one of the most famous blood gang members in the world. He's flipped his whole life. He makes movies. He's at the Sundance Film Festival right now.
Wow. Definitely heard his name.
I'll click you together with him.
Oh, that was all, man.
Yeah, we need that.
Right.
We need that.
And let me let y'all know, man, Renee Black, her show comes on at 9 o'clock. Is There a Decline of Black Masculinity and Femininity? On the Rundown with Renee comes on tonight at 9 o'clock. And let me get to this last call before we wrap it up. And caller, we got like 5 minutes, just so you know, man. I'm going to get to 5786 right quick.
Yo.
What's good, fam?
Yo, hello. Yo, man,
What's
what y'all talking
bro?
about? I just got on, man. I seen something about B-Dog coming at everybody. What's going on?
This is totally the wrong show, bro. I think you got that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, bro. We're talking about the church being talking about the church being relevant to the black struggle.
Oh, the church being relevant? Nah, it's not, man. After that Eddie Long situation.
Oh, he said the name. He said the name.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no. We gotta keep it funky. Listen, hear me out. Yo, we in a generation that, okay, I'm sure most of us are in our 20s, probably going 30s, or some are in our 30s. These young bucks coming up, man, like, when they have to grow up, you know, they parents may be, you know, church going and everything, but when they see something like an Eddie Long situation where it's probably similar to the type of church they go to, Baptist church, whatever, and these things happen, and you see these, like, scandals and stuff happening, like, this shit actually turns people away from whatever they believe in at times, subconsciously, because when they think about they going to church, they listen to this pastor and everything, and then come to find out, you know, you see another famous pastor out there.
It's discouraging.
It's discouraging, and it low-key really just messes up the mind frame and wanting to believe that because if you believe in this is something you grow up, it's instilled in you, and then you got to find out something like that is happening to the very people that's preaching to you the good, the Bible, and all this. That shit, it will really turn you off. It makes you doubt everything that you were actually praying about, believing in, and it does that. And I'm seeing that with this new generation where you can't even talk church to them. Like, they don't want to hear that shit.
Well, let me
anything to go to church.
I want you to do me a favor, bro. When you get a chance, I want you to listen to the playback of the show, because we got Reverend Harry Lewis Williams on right now, and he is the total opposite of what you were just describing. And I agree with you wholeheartly, by the way, that the church just shot itself in the foot on so many different, you know, occasions. That's why they can't walk right now.
Yeah.
However, when you have people like Reverend Williams who look at it from a totally different perspective, and not only just look at it, but puts that into action. You know, and trust me, bro, I am not a religious person at all, but
gotcha.
I would help Reverend Williams.
Facts.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yo, it's no tight T-shirt selfies, none of that, bro. Like, there's no Under Armour, no like it's all official. It's all.
You just kind of asked yourself out the mix there, wrong.
But you know one thing that I think about. If you asked me one person I would have liked to meet in history, one of them would have been definitely Malcolm. And I remember in the movie, I don't know how many times I've seen the movie Malcolm X. I don't know, countless. But I remember there's one scene in the movie where he finds out that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has had these indiscretions with his secretaries, and he goes to this one secretary and he goes, she says, I just want the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to take care of my baby, you know, and Malcolm holds the baby, and he says something that I'll never forgot. He said, she says, I believed in him. And Malcolm looks down at her with this like really grim look and he says, believe in Allah, sister. Believe in Allah. And I have preachers that have really let me down, but at the end of the day, God is still God. And 90% of the preachers I meet are not the ones that end up like Mr. Long. 90% of the preachers I know are struggle. They struggle financially. They struggle. I wouldn't say 90%, but I say a huge percentage of the preachers I meet, they mean business, and you'll never find anything about them like that. There's only a handful. There's only a handful of priests that are pedophiles. Probably maybe not even 5%. There's 95% of priests who are not. It never get near that. But it only takes those few.
You know, let me ask y'all this before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Being that at one point the black church was so effective,
yes,
would y'all agree that white supremacy has made a concerted effort to highlight the Eddie Longs and keep the Reverend Williams in the shadows for a reason?
It could well be that. It could well
to an extent, yeah.
Yeah, it could well be that because the potential black people have a core faith. I preach to gang members, preach in prisons, and here's the thing: you talk to the most grimy hood cat, the person that you think will be having. I've met people that were the leaders of certain situations, of certain nations, and they'll come up to you and talk about how they love Jesus. They might not say it around other people, but they'll say, I've been in a room with people that you never would have thought, and they'll break out crying and say, pray for me. People you never would have thought, because that's our religion is wired into our DNA. So if somebody wanted to disrupt your whole community, you deal with the preachers. The other thing I'm gonna say this really quickly is there's so much money in that prosperity stuff. You won't see real preachers on TV a lot of times because they can't afford the media that these fake preachers can afford.
Right. True statement. That's a true statement.
Hey man, fellas, we're gonna wrap it up, man, and it has been truly an honor and a privilege to have you on with us tonight, Rev. This is home for you, bro.
Again.
So if you ever want to come back, just let us know.
I will, and I really appreciate this. Y'all are wonderful brothers, and I'll be finding out more and more about what you do and staying connected.
Oh,
absolutely.
No doubt, man, no doubt. And please don't forget to hook us up with the brother that you were speaking of, the Blood, that wrote the book.
I'm going to do that right now. As soon as I get up there.
Awesome. And before you go, man, let them know where we can get your book at right quick too.
Go to Amazon.com. I wrote a book. It's called Street Cred, Reverend Harry Williams. Another one you want to pick up is called Straight Outta East Oakland by Harry Williams. You'll enjoy both of them.
So,
salute, man. And caller, man, even though you stumbled onto the show, man, definitely appreciated your input.
Amen.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
Amen. That's right.
All right. He went from battle rap to conscious in like 12 seconds.
That's right.
Freestyle rebuttal.
Right. All first verse.
That rebuttal was dope. I know.
We know who seems to be that battle.
Hey, man. Any last words before we sign off, fam?
Oh yeah, I love everybody. And Renee, Renee is on. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go to Renee right now. Salute.
Facts.
Okay. Peace, everybody.
Rome, you good?
It's short and sweet, man. Stay black, stay strong, be safe, man. Holler at us next week.
No doubt. Who do we have on next week?
Next week is conscious.
Oh, that's dope. Oh, and since we got y'all here, Saigon is already confirmed, right?
We gotta wait on that one.
All right. I know we got B-Dot coming up next month, and that should be coming with some surprises. We got Yo
Quay Butter.
We got Quay Butter coming on. Next month's gonna be really lit, man. And man, this was like my birthday is Monday, so this was a great birthday present. This was a really
happy
dope
birthday.
show, man. Oh, no doubt, man.
Wow.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I didn't even see that. Happy birthday, bro.
It's coming up.
Oh, okay.
And,
I
typically don't tell nobody. I generally keep it to myself, but I think I might beg for some money this year. So
that's awesome.
Prosperity Radio. Prosperity Radio.
Hey, man, salute to everybody that tuned in, man. This has been My Skin is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. From goons to guys, we welcome everyone, man. We only have one rule, and that's be respectful. Don't forget to check out the groups, All Black Everything and My Skin is My Sin. Make sure you check out the YouTube page and subscribe to My Skin is My Sin. The Instagram, My Skin is My Sin 1. That's the number 1. Same thing for Twitter. And support the website, myskinismysin.com. And we got the app coming soon for the Conscious Olympics, so be on the lookout for that. That should be really fire. And we got another Conscious Olympics live coming up too. Should be a really good year, man. So salute to everybody that supports the show, man. Salute to the people that hate the show, man, because you support us too. You just don't realize it. Y'all have a good one, man. Peace out, and we love you.
Peace.
Peace.